Hey there, everyone. I hope you are all doing good. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the Frap Audio 2806 Compressor Expander. I've been sent that unit to try from Frap Audio, which is a studio gear side of Frap Tools, mostly known to make modular synthesizer in the Eurorack format. I remember when I saw that they were starting to make studio outboard gear, I was curious about it. And since I am going to demo some of their modular synth stuff, we were talking about give this one a spin as well. So here we go. So it's a mono compressor and expander. It's like an extremely flexible unit, has many options and modes and stuff. So what I've done is that I have this live project over here. Funky, IDM-ish, brain dancey stuff. That contains a simple 808 beat, a good old breakbeat, sort of weirdo bassline, and a stereo lead synth. The easiest way we can hear a compressor behave, of course, sending drums to it. We are going to start by the compressor side, and later I will show you the expander. Basically, it's compressor, expander, and all this in the middle is the sidechain options and listening. And here is the blend of our signal, compressed, affected by the unit, and a dry path, which is awesome to make parallel processing directly from the module, which we will see, of course. So here I have this little external audio effect in live that is sending the audio to the right channel and taking it back from the right channel. So that's it. We are now inside the compressor. But right now we are not compressing at all. So let's go for a ratio of 3. We can see that we are already grabbing a few peaks over there. Straight away it starts to add some harmonic distortion. Because I have the attack and release at their minimum setting, which is extremely fast. And this is why it adds so much color. So this is something that you might want, actually. So the basic control are the ratio and the threshold, which are the classics. And attack and release will slow the action of the compressor. You can hear now that it's much less intense. We have that classic little button that when it's pressed offset both the attack and basically it changes the time constant behavior to make it behave like a more old school compressor that were much slower than this one. So you can keep things, if you want to have the color, you can set this at the minimum. This is a lot of color. This is a bit less. And of course you can decide to shape your signal. One thing I like to do, drums like this, if you want to emphasize the attack, is to just compress the tail quite slowly, but quite radically. This is of course pretty insane. Then you compensate with the makeup gain, probably clipping. But one of the cool things here, as I said, is that we have our clean, unaffected volume here, and we can blend our compressor. It's better in terms of level matching. Okay, let's go back to our very radical settings. This is fun. Let's see how hardcore it will get. That's plenty of color. There's that contour knob as well, which is basically a high pass filter that will prevent the bass part of the signal you're sending to trigger the compressor. Oh boy. Which does change a lot its behavior. So let's say we want something pretty crunchy. It's maybe... Oh, this is pretty snappy. Let's go back on something a bit more well behaved. This can be really a creative compressor. That's one of the things I like about it. So let's record this output, which is output number 5. Okay. Now I can remove that, and we can listen to this, which is our recording, properly compressed. Now let's get the bass line in. I will remove this here, and I will send the bass line through it. And we are going to try to do some clever compression this time. So one interesting thing, you can listen to the compressor circuit after the high pass. Which means you can actually use this just as a high pass filter in some situation where you don't have. It's actually sounding quite good. And you can do the same here through the filters of the expander, which can give you some quite cool stuff actually. So let's get creative once again. Let's use the expander. The expander does exactly the opposite of the compressor. It removes signal that's below the threshold. Let's unfilter everything and so yeah, basically what I'm doing is that I emphasize the high notes and I sort of remove the other ones, which is once again a very useful thing for part of the compression if you want to make those louder notes even louder. And here we have also our attack and release to shape how this is happening. Okay, let's say that we actually want something. Let's put it off, and let's say we want to remove those too loud notes and make them behave a bit better with the rest. We can decide that the compressor will behave in a very different way if we set that ref to post. Post means that it will compress the signal after the makeup gain. So basically, let's leave this here. So if I put more makeup gain, I have more compression. This is actually the input level inside the compressor, and here the amount of compression. Let's go with classic. We could actually do a bit of the two at the same time. We have that little priority knob, switch, sorry. And what this does is that it prevents the expander to work when the compressor is working, which is right now all the time. So let's record that bass. We have both at the same time, which is fun. Let's leave that one uncompressed. Well, just because this is fun, let's change the notes on this one. Okay, now let's add the breakbeat. Let's listen to it alone. No expander. Let's go for a very groovy compression, like proper, insane. I like that. Get some really nice pumping things when using the classic mode. Yeah, you get some very like nasty crunch. Let's go limiter style. Ugh. If you leave those transient pass, this is good. Let's record it while we're there. And while we're still here, I wanted to show you the expander alone on breakbeat. It's quite cool. So let's not compress at all. Okay, so now we have everything recorded. Let's check out. Just a little trick here when you want to compare stuff. You can assign any key from live to anything. So what I like to do when I want to compare something like this, of course this stereo thing is unaffected because this guy is mono only. So what we have here is one key that switch between all the sounds. So let's put everything at the same level, basically. This is the original thing. And this is our compressed mix. This is more groovy for sure. It's different. Just a last little bonus thing. If you want to use, okay, let's use this synth. I will remove the stereo part of it, which is the random panning there. And I will send it to that. We still have the breakbeat. Because we haven't talked about two things. First, the listen section, as I mentioned earlier, is quite cool on its own. Especially for synth, I found that those filters sounds very good. They're very simple, but there's something about them that they sound good. Here, when you are on the listen part, you don't hear the action of the compressor or the expander, just listening to the input after those filters. And here is the same, but with this filter, the high pass on the compressor. And I just wanted to point out that they sound very good. And one of the last things that we haven't checked, so let's go back here, is the sidechain. Because this takes 2 space in a 500 case, and so it uses 2 inputs. There's also another output that we are not using, but what I want here is to take the kick of my 808. I will send that kick. Yeah, I don't want any output. I just I'm going to send it to the other input. So now we can see we are compressing via the sidechain input, which is the kick. I was in parallel mode still. And this is also a part where we can get pretty creative with some very weird sounding results. I really like that sort of very crunchy, gated thing. Let's listen to it in context with the beat. Yeah. Now that I've made this mono, I mean, let's just add something after it. This is nice. Oh, one last very short thing, that we have the bypass, which is normal on that kind of things, of course. But we also have this off switch, which is actually still going through the circuit. It's not bypassing the whole unit, it's going through the VCA. So you can, let's say, have fun maybe removing some gain here and try to see what kind of saturation you can get by cranking this output like a maniac. And it's not uninteresting for sure. It's just a nice little bonus, I think. Knowing Frap Tools being a modular synth company, a CV input over that VCA would have been very fun. Just like plug your jack somewhere here and control that with your modular synth. Next time. That's it. I think we've seen everything that I've wanted to show you. This was the 2806 by Frap Audio, aka Frap Tool. Many thanks to them and to Alex for their distributor for sending this to try. It was a pleasure. And thanks to you for watching. I will make a sample pack out of this session, as always, for people on my Patreon. I can just support there even without getting sample packs, or you can support even more and get some teachings. Feel free to visit. You can buy some stuff as well from the affiliate links below if you want to support the channel. That way, it's always welcomed. And well, thanks. See you next time. Bye-bye.